Welcome back to the Spanish Grand Prix for Formula FG. This, during the break, is what's happened. We've had Omar Saeed pitting, and the person he was battling, Tim Engberink, massive off into turn 3. Brings out the yellow flags, and he's stuck beached in the gravel, but he seems like he'll be able to get going again.
Even with such a big hit, it would appear that his car has been built quite strongly. So we'll see if he manages to get it going again, or if he... No, yeah, he's trying to carry on with some pretty bad damage to the back there, maybe.
I think that's Saeed that's just got past him. That's ironic. He was battling Saeed quite strongly just before he went off, and Saeed's ended up pitting, but Engberink hasn't. Engberink instead has made a pit stop in the gravel. Ooh, hello.
Ooh. Rejoins the track and tries to take a monster with him. Bit of revenge maybe for nothing?
Revenge for nothing. Definitely interesting way to look at it. Nonetheless.
Well, that's the way Jaws looked at it.
Here we go. Pablo Deal. He, according to telemetry, he's on his way into the pits this lap.
So he's gone very fast, but that would appear to be just a very light stop then.
Which is interesting because he was, don't forget, he was behind Utsa at the start. But of course, Utsa may have been running a lighter first stint, so it might be fairly evening out a bit. In which case, you've got to remember.
Deal was the last of the front runners to pit, and if he's going to be the first of the front runners to pit again. It's a very interesting little strategy. He's going to be slow at the end. We'll have to see what everybody else can do now with lower fuel compared to him.
Now, I just heard a radio message then to somebody saying pit at the end of this lap. Now, I'm not sure if it was Deal, because we already know he will be pitting. But it could also have been Hunsley possibly pitting at the end of this lap.
Might be. It would explain why he's been catching Utsa.
Now, some of
the... But yeah, Deal's pitted. Deal in the pits.
Yes,
Humphrey?
No,
he's carrying on.
So it must have been Deal that we heard. Interesting that we got Saeed just ahead of McNamara. Now, Saeed is hovering around 5th place. Corrected order. In which case, McNamara right behind. If he is one stopping, he is effectively corrected order running around 6th place.
So there we go. Deal, he's rejoined behind the battling. That would have been 4-0 and one of the Vipers. So will they slow him down, or will he just wants to straight past them?
That's the not so Dutch Danish man, Andy Black. Now this could impact on Deal behind. Deal 1.2 seconds behind. He might be getting up to them, and that might mean a big problem if he's trying to get past them and they slow him down. He should have the speed down the straight, but you don't know. There's Neyron going very wide.
Turn 4 has kept it going. But Barrett's got through, and that would be a recovering Engberink.
Yes, it is. I forgot Engberink went off.
You forgot it? It was a major crash.
It was, but things happen in FFG. There is a lot of action, so it's very hard to remember what happened 2 laps ago.
Yeah, there's Keren's pitted, the Foro's pitted. There's a lot of action, lots of stuff happening, lots of people crashing. But so far, 22 cars started, 22 cars still running. It appears that the reliable, unreliable DTKs have kept going so far. Dovizioso is now right on the back of Hunsley.
Moro, he's behind his teammate.
Well, he'd always been behind Saeed at this point, as Engberink pits as well from 21st.
And Harvey is lapped. Harvey has been lapped.
I think he has pitted. That probably will go away when Utsa and all the front runners make their second pit stops. Chaco up to 6th, that's impressive from 20th on the grid. And Stefan Berner as well, up to 7th from 15th. That's Dovizioso on Hanzo. Oh man, he's definitely dropping back now. Dovizioso's got him, easy.
Dovizioso, he's got it done before the corner even appeared. Fantastic effort there from the Italian, taking advantage of his Mercedes power plant to be able to
at the end of this lap.
punch past
At the end of this lap.
Hunsley's pitting, I think Dovizioso is as well, so Dovizioso may have made a move there that could be very important to the outcome of this race. He has gotten past Hunsley on their, both of them, on their in-lap.
Yes, so undercut, overcut, not really going to affect these two if they're both pitting. So it's down to the pit guys. Who can put the fuel in quickest, who can get their guy outdone, who can get all the tyres done. Or, if nothing else happens, it's just a battle on the track. So R05 is pitted and returned out behind 40 and ahead of Barrett.
Here's Black. Deal going
Black
to have
and
a
Deal.
look. Deal now looking to the inside. That's just going to be eating time.
Yeah, he's definitely the faster guy on the track so far. It's the top 4 pit. Utsa, Dovizioso, Hunsley and Offensager.
Indeed. Oh, hello. Here's
It's Foro.
Foro off the circuit. That seems terminal. You can't hear the engine. That's why it's
Engine
an engine
problems.
problem.
So what I said about 2 laps ago about all of us still going, there's suddenly we're starting to lose them. 1 down. Zenforo. New helmet, new pink helmet for this weekend. Pink, the cursed colour of motorsport, it would seem, and this is showing itself up here as well. Pink cars never do too well. Doesn't matter what you're driving, what you're in, it's just cursed. And the curse has struck here in Spain, Formula FG.
Is Rinjaho
So-
now leading? That's a rather funny occurrence. He's not had a great race, but he's ended up leading the race. So he's not done too badly.
Stefan Berner's not far behind him in second either.
Berner is
So-
heading into the pits this lap. There's Deal. So he's our
Deal
effective
up.
race leader. He's a
Dovizioso.
long way ahead.
So there's Utsa. He's got a big gap on Dovizioso and he's got an Evo GP in the way. And Hansley has lost time there. Hansley has definitely dropped back. Saeed is a long way back as well after his pit stop compared to where he was before.
Pit box positioning might have been a problem, perhaps, for the DTK driver. Might have one of the other cars.
So there we go.
Slide.
Rinjaho, Berner and Black all pit as well.
So now
Harvey
that-
20th now.
That's mostly. We're getting to the point where we're mostly cleansed the field. For those who are two stopping, that is. Only Rob
Rob
Sharp. I
Sharp
think.
running up in third. So he's just in the at the moment. All he's doing really is helping Utsa escape from Dovizioso. As Tom Barrett pits from 19th.
And there are unconfirmed reports coming through for this weekend that the Evo GP team is going to be taken over by the all-conquering online racing. Of course, at the moment they're sponsored by Martini team. So that's going to be interesting. Evo GP will get an injection of cash, it seems. Be able to.
Well, I think they've got the cash there. They just haven't got direction on how to spend it. There's Engbrink looking on Barrett, but yeah, Evo GP struggling at the moment, and the takeover is looking more likely at the moment.
That'll definitely be interesting to see the famous online racing colours in Formula FG as well. Of course, they took a dominant 1-2 in the first GP TCC. Yeah, I think I said. I think I got the right amount of
yeah.
C's. the first touring car championship. They of course took a dominant 1-2 in the championship with Rathavar and Utsa. It was a fantastic effort for them, and them coming to Formula FG shows that the series clearly is making some headlines in all the right circles. Here's Rinyaho in 6th place.
6th place. Well, from 3rd on the grid, it's a bit disappointing, but to be honest, he's only had one finish so far. All the rest have been retirements. So 6th place, points. Don't think there's any complaints there from Rinyaho if he gets to the end. 12 laps to go. So Dovizioso he's catching Utsa. He's got past Sharp. There's just over a second between Dovizioso and Utsa. So we could see the Italian in 2nd place from 12th on the grid, which is an impressive showing. But Daniel Harvey here, 19th. What could it have been? He was in 3rd, battling Harvey and Utsa for the lead, and then just a crash at turn 3 has ruined his race.
Here's McNamara. I think he's getting overtaken. Yeah, he's down to 11th now, so Noak's just snuck through into the points, and McNamara hasn't made a second stop yet, and I don't think he will. So,
yeah,
possibly
2K F1. 2K F1 definitely showing they have bigger fuel tanks than anyone else.
Well, possibly bigger fuel tanks, possibly just taking bigger risks, hoping that they'll make the distance and get into the points. But so far, although it seems that it's definitely helped McNamara, he's definitely off the back row. How much of that is just down to the car performance? But it's not really worked either. If he's in 11th right now, I'll tell you
whose strategy hasn't worked for. Saeed, he's down in 12th after an impressive form at the beginning of the race. A slow middle stint and a pit stop has sent him into the wrong place towards the end. He's, as I said, down in 12th. It's not his favourite 11th spot, but he was in contention for high points, maybe a podium. And it's not turned out that way.
I think Sharp might have still been. Maybe not.
No, Sharp pitted 2 laps ago. Yeah. Here's Rinyaho's up to 5th again. So Sigolakis having a look at Black. As Dovizioso is right on Utsa's tail. Deal leading by an absolute canter now.
Yes, so, exactly. 6.8 seconds. He hasn't got anyone on his tail.
Now, will he be the first repeat winner of the series as well? As Hunsley, again, so far looking to continue the non-tradition that Deal started last time of a race winner actually finishing the next race, as we hadn't had so far.
Here's Sharp. Fantastic effort last week. Maybe just trying to get some data for the team. Perhaps certain representatives are there already.
It would make sense back there. So Harvey, is that? No, it's Deal. Well, this is Deal. Did that factor in wearing? Nobody in view. Nobody ahead of him, nobody behind him, just big gaps. So he can just focus on his own race and not wonder or worry about attacking or defending. He can just make sure he gets it to the end in first place for the BRT team. Through turn 9, Dovizioso closing in again on Utsa. Rinyaho in 5th, so it's DTK 4th and 5th with Huntley and Rinyaho. Is that Kerrinan in 6th? It looks like it.
I do believe it is Kerrinan in 6th.
So once again, just because you've had a good qualifying doesn't mean you're going to do good in the race, and just because you've had a bad qualifying doesn't mean you're not going to do good in the race.
Indeed.
Of course, it is nice to qualify up near the front, as the BRTs and DTKs have showed,
But I mean,
If
even
you've got decent race pace, keep
even
positions.
Dovizioso has moved a long way up. He's started 12th. He's up to 3rd. Might be able, with 8 laps to go. I think he's on for a good chance of taking the 2nd place.
Definitely, because Oots has not really had any pace since his first stop, and Dovizioso has just been on form. He's overtaking anyone in his way. He's pulling away from Hansley. He's catching up to Utsa. It's almost given now that he's going to get through. And it'll be a great result for the Elite 2 team.
They've definitely had a very good race pace recently. They had a very poor Imola round though. It was shocking. But
Yeah, because it was Brazil when they battled up from last on the grid to both in the points, wasn't it? Something like that. But it was ridiculous, basically.
Likewise, Nowak in Malaysia, had to battle back from a early altercation with McNamara and ended up getting 4th.
So there we go. Another shot of Saeed's helmet, lovely slotted sign. As that's Rob Sharp. Definitely a disappointing day down in 18th. Spun out on about lap 10 or something by somebody in turn 1, and he's not really battled back anymore. Here he goes. Going to have to pass on Neyron, that would be.
Ferrari engine in the back of the Evo GP is going to be able to do enough to get him past Neyron's NTAC. Here's Utsa. 0.4 of a second to Dovizioso, and he's lost 3/10 to Deal in the last few laps. So it's clear that he's now looking behind than in front.
Yeah, 7 laps to go. It's a big gap ahead. He needs to keep 2nd place, but Dovizioso was on charge. That Elite 2 car is set up well here, and he's definitely having a go. Because 2nd place will be an astonishing result for them.
Indeed. Dovizioso,
Third's good, but
0.4 if he's within 0.4 of a second, that's where he needs to be, I think, to have a good chance down the straight.
Yeah, well, we're not following the battle, we're following Daniel Harvey, who probably should have been in that battle, but Oots has kept position just about.
It was 0.4 of a second across the line, telemetry says.
So keeping up the pace. It's turn 4. Dovizioso's lost some time, so perhaps he's tried an overtake.
It was exactly 0.4 of a second.
Perhaps Dovizioso's tried an overtake and it's not worked, and he's just lost a bit of time through turn 3. So Deal a long way ahead now.
You can see there is a bit more of a gap there between the two. We'll watch this.
Passing the stricken power of 4.
We'll watch this a little bit more. There's Hunsley.
Down towards the cake, sir.
Saeed might just have enough speed just to topple over McNamara and take that famous 11th place for himself.
At 11th place, he so adores.
And of course, a few laps to go, you never know, somebody might slide off. We saw it last week.
We've seen it a few weeks today, in fact.
Yes. Just because there are 2 corners to go, just because there's a bit over a lap to go, does not mean that you can't have a brain fart and put it in the gravel.
Even if it's not a brain fart, you can still chuck it in the gravel, you can still retire. You never know, you could get... Somebody might slide into you and bump you into the wall. Or you might just suddenly think, I'm just bored now, I'll just go slow. Although I don't think any of these drivers are quite that silly to do that. So Sigalakis has got past Saeed there.
So that's gonna make it very hard for Saeed to be able to get to 11th. He's now not only going to get past McNamara, which could be possible, but then he's got to get past somebody else as well to get into 11th, or he's going to have to hope that somebody conks out at some stage. Meanwhile,
perhaps after all that time running up high in the early laps, he's dropping back just to get his average back down to 11th.
Perhaps.
So it's under 4/10 now between Ucha and Dovizioso, and if Dovizioso can keep close, he should be able to get it into turn 1.
You'd say it's just it's just under 0.4 of a second. He's got a holder through the final corner. 5 laps remaining. Doesn't seem quite close enough. I'll take back my comment.
3.6.
It might need to be about 0.3 of a second to have a really great shot down into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big straight, but it's never been one of those corners that you can overtake into, really, because the corner before you've got 2 heavily aerodynamic corners before it that cars just can't follow each other through. So that's where you lose all your time, and then turn 1's not that slow, so you don't have a big braking point either.
We've also got to look at the fact that the Lamborghini engine, the sole users of that engine, of course, BRT, but the Mercedes in the back of the Elite 2, as opposed to the Monster car, is known to be heavily tuned by the Elite 2 team.
Yeah, Said has lost another position.
They are very closely matched cars, and track position is king, nonetheless.
Dovizioso now 1.6 tenths behind. This is getting close. This has got to be a pass soon, definitely.
He's got a hold through the final corners. I think it's very well
defensive.
Through Here comes Dovizioso though.
Definitely got to get him now. 1.26. He's through.
Well ahead. He's got it done before the corner. Dovizioso moves into second place ahead of Ben Ucha in the Spanish Grand Prix. We'll now go back to the front to see absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go, Dovizioso.
Up 10 positions there. The question is, can Hunsley now mount a charge on Ucha? Don't think so, but Sigalakis is going past McNamara for 11th place, it would seem. It's a bit of a McNamara train. Definitely a McNamara train developing there, which is helping the guys in front like Nowak. Again, last on the grid to points. He's 10th at the moment. Chaco
it's clear that it's becoming harder because you could get to 4th. He didn't quite get as far as that. Now he's struggled all the way to 10th. So perhaps they're doing well, Evo GP, but the others around them are doing equally as well and staying ahead. Sigalakis
still behind McNamara. McNamara is, although he's on a 1-stop and his tyres are going to be absolutely shot, he's still holding position. He's defending hard. That's all he needs to do, really. He's got no chance to catch up to Nowak. It's all about the pride. Sigalakis now, he's got out of there easily through. Will he bring the Viper through with him? Bandy Black?
I don't think the Viper's close enough. Neither is Sigalakis by the looks of it.
McNamara, he keeps keeping it around the outside there, sharp.
Here we go,
Right
there is the
teammate
train.
Dimas.
The train going down as far as 17th, and Neyron's only a second behind, so that's really going down to 18th. You can see ahead there's Sigalakis, still can't get past. Not unless he wants to have no front wheel.
It would seem that in that battle, Razvara has got past Dimas.
McNamara just again somehow finding traction there out of turn 5, and he's able to get a little bit of a lead, but here we go, look at all of them. Goodness. Here we go, we got McNamara, Sigalakis, Black, Said, Razvara, then we got the 2 Evo GPs, Dimas, Sharp, Neyron's close enough, and Harvey's not anywhere close to that, but that's not the point. There's Nowak.
Yeah, it is helping the Apexes catch back up.
This time Sigalakis surely Cosworth power versus Ferrari power. There's Viper.
He's
Oh,
through.
big
So,
lock-up.
Big lock-up from McNamara. Tyres must be giving up now.
But did
Vizioso's second.
Sigulakis, because he went in very deep there, was he able to hold the line? Yes, he was. So Sigulakis moves into 11th, which I think he finished last race in 11th as well.
Yes, that would sound about right.
Massive shame for him then. Traco in 9th. Black now has the honour of trying to get past McNamara.
So the one stop hasn't worked this time for 2KF1 as Deal starts the final lap. Close again, but we've seen before that the Kexa isn't really an overtaking spot. Even though it's the second longest straight on the track, basically if you can overtake, it's turn 1 or nothing.
Nonetheless, we will now go to find Pablo Deal. Fantastic drive
Radulara's
today.
got past Saeed in there, 14th, so Saeed really dropping back now.
Yes.
Not very good at this pack racing. Sloth by name, sloth by nature. See?
Nonetheless, Pablo Deal started the day front row. I think safe to say that during the first stint we were probably talking up the chances of Utsa more than Deal. Utsa had a fantastic first stint, but since then Deal has put his head down and he's really got the best out of this car, and as a result he's got 2 corners to go to become the first double winner in FFG. Around the final corner he'll come, and it's a fantastic effort as Pablo Deal takes the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah, first double win, and that will elevate BRT to the only team at the top of the Constructors' Championship. DTK will go into second, and DTK and 2KF1 will drop back after a pretty appalling performance, really, from them.
By their standards.
Yeah. So,
No
Deal,
access
Vizioso, Utsa is your podium. Huntley in 4th. Disappointing
Black
from
McNamara.
Pole.
Oh, it's going to be close. And it's .047 over the line, and there's just a massive pack of people. We miss half of them. Harvey through the final corner. Barrett, well, he made the finish. Engbrink, what a shame. Quickly, we must talk about Michael Sager. Fantastic effort to the points in his first race, but all the plaudits today to Deal. Right, and so that is the completion of the Spanish Grand Prix. Fantastic effort by Pablo Deal to take the victory. Full race results coming now.
Yep, so
We got Pablo Deal.
sorry, George Michael just ran into the commentary box. We do apologise, and we hope it hasn't affected any games people might be playing. But anyway, Pablo Deal takes victory. 1 hour 6 minutes, I think. No, I think Imola was about a minute quicker, but quick result anyway. Andrea Dovizioso, second place for Elite 2, the Italian, his first podium of the season, ahead of Benuzza, BRT. So that's double podium for BRT. Then up next to the DTKs, Jack Hunsley and Tapio Rinyaho. First, third on the grid, dropped back a bit, but that's the way it happened. Kerenan up to 6th.
Sorry about that. Where are we up to? Sorry, I was just throwing George Michael off a 3rd-story building here in the pit lane.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Kerenan in 6th, 17 seconds behind our leader, with debutant Okelsager in 7th. Stefan Berner, 8th
Now that
place.
is a fantastic effort because he really went underneath the radar. We weren't really paying attention, and that is a great race for him to be able to get into 8th.
Yeah, up from 15th on the grid. Not the best of qualifying, but kept on plugging along. Was helped by the fact that after the second pit stop, he didn't get stuck behind McNamara, as many others found. Chaco in 9th for Monster, gathering some points from the penultimate row of the grid, and Josh Nowak from last, once again, in the points. Spectacular weekend for him. Well, by weekend we mean Sunday, not Saturday.
Yes.
Elite 2 really need to work on some qualifying pace, but he's kept it going here. Sugalakis in 11th, just managed to get out of the McNamara train as well as Andy Black. McNamara crossing the line photo finish with R05 for 14th in the end. That was quite spectacular. Saeed, disappointing day, 15th after a decent qualifying in 8th place and a great first stint. The sloth helmet didn't help today. Rob Sharp, 16th place, could have been better.
Ahead of his teammate there, and possibly in the last guys of Vivo GP, as we know it, for the time being, head of Neyron, final car in the McNamara train, as you'd put it.
Harvey, well, what a day! It could have been so much better. He was 3rd, right up there with Hunsley and Deal towards the beginning of the race, and then off at turn 3 in the wall, and any chance of a good result gone. Barrett 20th, well, at least he got to the finish, but he also had a bit of a gravelly moment. Engbrink, massive crash at turn 3, but once again kept it going. And then our only retirement, Zen 40 from about 11th place, engine failure for Cedars team.
Right, and now we'll quickly check our fastest laps. That goes to Pablo Deal, so he'll, it's not an official double, but it's as close to a double as you're going to get. He's gotten the fastest lap and the win, and only 7 thousandths of a second from a triple, which is interesting. It's the second consecutive race that we could have possibly seen that. And we'll quickly have a look at the lap chart.
So Hunsley and Deal had a decent scrap at the beginning, but Hunsley took the position back. Deal dropped down, but kept it there.
Offensager definitely dropped down very quickly, but he came back up again soon after.
Yeah, seemingly not used to the start procedure in one of these cars, but once he got it going, he was quite unstoppable, really. Dovizioso, 12th on the grid, up in 2nd, 10 places gained there for the Italian.
Keranen enjoyed a topsy-turvy day, going down,
Up and down.
going back up. Harvey enjoyed a day going down and staying there.
Well, from 6th on the grid, he very quickly found himself in about 3rd. It was 3rd, and then it just went wrong.
Saeed there got himself into 3rd, was doing really well even through the second stint. He pitted from 5th. His main problem would have been that after he pitted, he got himself stuck behind McNamara.
Yeah, Saeed's race really was ruined by just a bad bit of strategy from the Cedars team. Really disappointing for him, because after the podium in Imola, it was looking like he was going to back it up again, but it wasn't to be.
Indeed, and so that wraps up the coverage of the Spanish Grand Prix for Formula FG. Very interesting race, definitely shaking up the order. I'd like to thank again Jimmy Ladd for joining me in the commentary box, even though he is a complete insert what swear word you really want to hear in that situation, but that's pretty much what it is.
That's brilliant.
Nonetheless, I leave it to you. You're well, you know, what's your excuse before you can run away with everyone chasing after you?
There is no excuse. It was worth it. Completely worth it. Anyway, yeah. I hope to be back for I hope to be back for the Austrian Grand Prix. It might be my last for a while, and see you all then.
Yeah, it could be your last. Of course, you got to make it up. You got to make it to next week. That'll be the fun bit, naturally.
Well, I don't think George. I think George survived the fall, and he may be there to help me get into the next one.
News coming through: George Michael did indeed survive the fall. We'll have to try harder next time, though. Hopefully, never is involved with this again. Either way, that, ladies and gentlemen, the Spanish Grand Prix. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for anyone that is going to be clearly angry with it. But there you go. Formula FG always delivers an interesting telecast. Thank you, everybody, and good night.